All right, welcome back. What we're looking at today is a grade six release paper for their 2024 FAST mathematics exam. What is the value of 1 raised to the third? So what this really means is 1 times 1 times 1. And this is just going to give us back 1. Hence, you see where that's the answer for that question right there. Let's take a look at number 12. Number 12 says, what is the value of the product of 3.42? And you want to multiply this by 0.11. Let's just quickly run through this. So 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 3 is 3. We could put a placeholder here. 1 times 2 is 2, 4, 3. And you add these up. This is 2, 6, 7, 3. And then you take a look at how many digits are after the decimal point. All right. So we have 4 digits that we're after. So we got to make sure that there is 4 digits after here. So that is why this was the answer for that. All right, let's take a look at this question here. Let's minimize it a little bit. All right, so what we want to do here is it says, what is the area of the figure? We have all the necessary details. We could multiply these two triangles. So I'm going to work on number 1 and number 2. They're identical when you look at the measurements, and then number 3 after that. So number 1 is identical to number 2. So the base is 2 and the height is 5 because there is a 90 degrees here, same thing here. So basically, it's going to be base times height over 2. So it's going to be 2 times 5 over 2. And as you could see, this 2 cancels itself 1 time. So for one of them, the area is 5, but it's 2 of them, so we're getting 10. Now, so we have this square inches for both. All right. Now we're going to work on this part, which is actually the rectangle, right? So it's a 2.5 times 5 plus 3, 8. Okay, because remember, this distance here is 5 and this is 3. So basically, we're looking at a 2.5 by 8. Well, we could simply multiply that. There are many ways you could do it, but 40, 0, 16, and 4, that's going to give us 20. There's one place of decimal right here. So you could see that that is actually 20. So 20 plus the 10. So 10 plus the 20, we should have an answer of 30 square units. And that's just one of the ways you could put it on. And here it is. We have our square inches there. Now let's take a look at the 14th question. It says, select all the values for j that make j plus 2 less than 17 true. So we're going to solve this so that we could know what j is. For example, you're going to subtract 2 from both sides because the intention is to isolate the j. So j is less than 15. And what it means is that 15 is not a part of my answer. Any number from 14.9999 to infinity, any number from 14.9999 back to negative infinity will work, which means 0 is less than 15, negative 10, negative 15. This, and this, these are not less than 15. So we have to be careful. So we have a series, we have a vast number of answers that would have worked, okay? All right, let's go to this other question here. So it says, Mali has 2 bags of oranges and 1 bag of grapes. So we have 2 bags of oranges, we have 1 bag of grape. The first bag of orange weighs 1.4 pounds and the second bag weighs 2.8, okay? The weight of the grapefruit is 2.2 times as much as the bags of oranges combined. Okay, so the question is, what is the weight of the grape? So what we're going to It's going to give us a 2, bring the 1. So this is actually 4.2. So what we're suggesting is the two bags of oranges would have weighed 4.2 pounds. Now we're going to have to take the 4.2 and we're going to multiply that by 2.25. So we're going to have to carry out this multiplication, whichever way we want it. It doesn't matter. So we're looking at 2 5s 10, carry the 1 5, and then we keep going, right? Right. Put a 0, and then what we have here is 0. That's for 20. 4 2 is 8, and 2 10. Then that 9. So then you add these up. So we have 9 4 5 0. But there are three digits behind the point. So we're going to make sure that there's three digits behind the point here. 1 2 3. So the answer we're looking for is 9.45 pounds. You would have plugged that in the system and go, right? So it's quite a little bit of reasoning, but you just take your time and work your way through it. All right, let us look on question 16. It says, Claudia buys a 240 page book. She will read 20 page every week, okay? Which expression represents how many pages Claudia has left, right, to read? Okay, it's gonna read 20 page per week, so you already know that's gonna be 20 times W. That's gonna tell the number of pages that we'll read, but you got to take that from the 240 to know what is left. So if I'm going to try to find out what is left, I'm going to have to say, put my 240, 20 times W, and then subtract that. And that is why this is the only answer there. Let's take a look at the other question. A right triangle is shown. We're looking at it. What is the area in units of this? Well, for any triangle, if it is a right triangle, then we have the base and the height. 8 is the base and 7 is the height. Remember, it's half base times height. And in this case, it's going to be 8 times 7 and divide that by 2. 8 times 7 is about 56 and 56 divided by 2 will give us 28. And so we're going to plug our 28 right there. All right, number 18. Number 18 says, which decimal is equivalent to 3 and 4/5? Well, basically what we could do is understand that 3 is an whole number, and we're going to try to work out this part, right? And there are many ways you can work this out, but 4/5 is 4 divided by 5. Can 4 goes into 5? We can. So we're going to put the decimal point and the placeholder. So 4, we could say 5 into the 40, that's 8. 8, 5, 40. And we could see when we subtract, we're good. But this decimal point here has to be pushed up right there. So what we're looking at is 0.8 being attached to this. So we're looking for 3.8, and that is the answer to that question right there. Let's take a look at the other question. It says, an equation is shown. We have 2.75, which is equal to m minus 0.5. What is the value of m in the equation? Well, what this is suggesting is that we want to isolate that m. Whatever we do, m must be by itself. And in this case, if we get rid of that negative 0.5 by doing the opposite to it, which is to add 0.5, then this would have been canceled out, so it's gone. But whatever we do to one side, we have to do it to the other side. So we're going to be, we must add that 0.5 over here as well. So this is going to be a 0, this is going to be a 2, you bring the 1, this is going to be a 3. So we're looking for 3.25 is equal to m. We're going to plug our 3.25 in there, and we're going. Remember, the main thing here, when you're solving, you want to isolate. All right, so we isolated that m. Let's go to question 20. All right. So question 20 is, let me minimize this a little bit. Question 20 says, it says a package is in the shape of a right rectangular prism is shown with units in inches. All right. Now, what is the volume of this? Well, The volume is simply the length times the width times the breadth, or what we call the height. This will take us there. In other contexts, you could say the area of the cross section, which would have been this part, the base here. If we could find the area of that and you multiply by the height, you're still good. That's the same thing. So basically, let us multiply 3.5 times 3.5. Whichever way you want to do it, you could let your 3.5 be represented as 7 over 2. So it could be 7 half times 7 half. And this is going to give you 28, 20, 49, my bad. 7 sevens, that's 49. That's going to give you 49 over 4. 49 over 4 can be represented. And then in the end, you're going to multiply this by 2. So if you multiply this by 2, you can see this 2 cancel itself, and then we have a 2 here. So 49.5 divided by 2 will give you 24.5. And this is what we're seeing here. And this is like one of the multiple ways that we could work it out. And definitely, I could have produced more ways, but for now, we'll stop. Thank you for watching my channel, and then subscribe to this channel, like this video, and drop a comment. And do look out as you go to question 21 the next time you see me. Bye-bye.